Well, hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Sunday is a very special day on this channel because that is when we do Effed Up News of the Week. Now, as my regular viewers know, I do go live at 5 pretty much every day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday on my main channel. On my second channel, we go live on Fridays for happy hour, although this week might be a little futzed up. I'm going to tell you guys more about that once I actually figure out my schedule for Friday. Saturdays, we sometimes do Sassy Saturday. Yesterday, I thought we actually did a really great stream midday where I watched the episode of Timcast with Daryl Davis by popular request and spent about 4 hours watching it and giving my thoughts and feedback on that. And then on Sundays, we gather together to talk about some of the more, well, effed up news stories of the week, such as, did you guys know that Amber Heard is so ballsy that she literally did coke well in a courtroom? Did everyone catch that? I mean, I'm not following this Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial at all, besides the drama that I kind of hear from other people who are following it. I actually really do want to go back and watch Amber Heard's testimony because I hear that there's a lot of dramatics and I don't have the time. I haven't had a chance to yet, but this did make its way across my Twitter this week, and I gotta say that looks a lot like Amber Heard doing coke in a courtroom. I don't know. You guys can pass your own judgments there. But guys, we do actually have a full lineup we're going to cover this week. We're going to talk about this Southern Poverty Law Center hit piece on Tim Pool. We are, of course, because we can't get around it, going to talk about abortion. Duh. We're going to talk about women sterilizing themselves in response to Roe v. Wade being appealed. Okay, I mean, I suppose that's one way to do it. We're going to talk about the Menstrual Dignity Act. We're going to talk about a pansexual teacher getting fired in Florida. And to top it all off, I'm going to play for you the latest and greatest political ad of our generation. The latest ad that just dropped last night from Senate campaign Jeremy Kauffman in New Hampshire. You guys are going to love it. This is the follow-up to the infamous War is Gay ad that got released, what was about a month ago? And Jeremy has done it again. He has brought the next great political ad, and they're just going to keep coming, guys, and we're going to watch it here on this channel. But before we get into that, just a reminder that if you would like to support the work I am doing and keep me in business and keep me broadcasting live at 5 every day of the week, producing all sorts of content in between, I really do try to post content on one channel or another every single day of the week for you guys. It is a lot of work. And if you would like to support my efforts, because I promise you, YouTube does not pay the bills, make sure you become a member of my locals community. You can do so by heading over to kb.locals.com/support. You can join for free if you like. If you've never been in locals before, you can actually just join for free at kb.locals.com. You don't have to pay anything. But when you become a supporter, you unlock all of the features of locals and you get special perks to include 2 Zoom calls with me every single week. We do them on Mondays at 7 p.m. and we do them on Wednesdays at noon. We also have a Bitchcraft coming up next weekend on Saturday, which is basically kind of like a community Zoom call, except it's on a Saturday and it includes crafting. You can do whatever craft you like. You can do knitting, you can do crochet, you can do painting, you can do drawing, you can clean your gun, you can fold laundry, you can just come hang out. Whatever is clever. You get access to that and a whole bunch more when you become a supporter in my locals community. You can do that for signing up for $5 a month. You can sign up for $50 a year, which gives you 2 months for free. You can also make a one-time gift. And as a special bonus, when you become an annual member in my locals right now, you are going to be eligible to get a free, customized, autographed book plate to go in your copy of Actively Unwoke, the ultimate guide for fighting back against woke insanity in your life. It is coming out on Tuesday, such as it is. You can currently pre-order the hardcover version and the Kindle version on Amazon. There are other options you can do as well. If you don't want to order on Amazon, I totally get it. You can head over to activelyunwoke.com and just click this handy dandy non-Amazon options button right there. Now, the audio version will be coming back one way or another, the audio version will be coming back. So if you're waiting for the audio, sit tight. It is on its way. We've had a little snafu, a little kerfuffle, as it were, but I'm making sure that it is the very best audio version that it can be for all of you, because ultimately that's the experience that I care about the most. So make sure you're pre-ordering your copy of Actively Unwoke so that it shows up on delivery day. You got all your options to do that. And then if you become an annual member in my locals, you can request a free customized autograph bookplate. I will make an autograph out to you. If you have a specific message you would like me to write, I will write it. If you would like to leave the message up to me, that's fine too. I will come up with something creative on my own. This can also be used to give a gift to a friend. So if you have a friend that you would like to get an autographed copy of it, just tell me their name, tell me what message you would like. I'm happy to hook that up. This is an exclusive offer for those who are annual members in my locals right now. And when you pre-order the book by tomorrow, tomorrow is the last day to get in on this particular thing, because this is a pre-order exclusive book club that if you have pre-ordered the book, we are going to be getting together to talk about the 3 sections of the book, which include a lay of the land. I decode the woke in plain English. We then talk about case studies and actionable strategies that everyone can do to fight back against the woke insanity in their particular lives. Then we talk about self-care, what to do if you're going to get canceled, because cancellation is rather inevitable, but I promise you it is a very, very survivable thing. This exclusive book club is available to people who have pre-ordered the book, and how you join it is you forward your receipts to bookclub@activelyunwoke.com, and I will be in touch with more information about that. There is a slight chance that I will be changing the dates of the book club, and that has to do with the kerfuffle around the audiobook. And quite frankly, I'm just waiting for more information from my publisher before I make a final decision on whether the dates are going to get shifted or not. But you still have time, plenty of time to sign up, plenty of time to get your receipts in. But in order to be eligible for this, you do have to order the book by tomorrow at the latest, okay? Because this is a special incentive to pre-order the book. I promise it's rad. Like, I'm really proud of the book. You can even go to Amazon. You can see a couple early reviews of people who got Kindle copies. It looks like I'm doing pretty good so far. So I hope you take advantage of that. I think the book club's going to be great, and I'm really looking forward to it. Naruto says, Carlin, are you going to talk about the horse ulcer medication being advocated for women who want abortions? No, I'm not, Naruto, because it is an ironic story, isn't it? It is ironic that now the left is advocating for horse medication. I don't think that the sense of humor the universe has is lost on me in any way, shape, or form, but I didn't select that story for this particular one just because, to be honest, I'm kind of really bored of talking about abortion. We're going to talk a little bit about it today just to illustrate how insane MSNBC is, because it's always a good day to illustrate how insane MSNBC is. Like, let's be honest. But like, I'm honestly just really sick of talking about abortion. I'm really, really, really sick of it. Lewis says, you're welcome. All are here to support the doc so she can continue the important work she's doing. I really appreciate that, Lewis. I am trying my very best. I am feeling a little bit under the weather today. I just like have no energy left. So if it's a little bit of like a lower energy show today, I apologize. I'm just like, I feel like I've given all I have to give and I'm barely hanging on by a thread. And I just want to go sit on my couch and watch really crappy reality TV and eat really bad food for a little while and cry and do whatever else. I know that's the type of inspiring, uplifting message you're hoping for on Effed Up News, but that's the way it goes. All right, let's dig into it. Now, I wanted to start off with this. I learned about the Southern Poverty Law Center hit piece on Tim Pool from this tweet from Lauren Chen. It looks like Southern Poverty Law Center is trying to get Timcast demonetized. They paint Tim's show as some sort of extremist soapbox, then talk about how YouTube is profiting from it. Listen, I did a great stream about the great if I do say so myself, about Tim's episode with Daryl Davis the other day. I thought I was resoundingly fair on the stream. I don't always agree with Tim on everything, but I think that Tim did a really good job on the stream, the best he could. I think that you guys can go watch the whole 4-hour stream if you want. I think the trouble with Daryl is that he was unwilling to listen to what Tim was saying. And so even though I'm not always on Tim's side on everything, I actually was on the episode yesterday, more or less. He still needs to learn the definition of critical race theory. Don't think for 1 second I'm letting him off the hook on still not being able to define critical race theory off the top of his head. It is unacceptable. Tim has had some of the smartest people in the world on his show talking about critical race theory. He should damn well be able to define it himself. However, in this case, with this Southern Poverty Law Center hit piece, I am also on Tim's side because on my channel, I don't actually take positions based on whether or not I personally like someone. I take positions based on what I think is correct, and whether or not I like the person doesn't really play into it at all. So let's read this hit piece from the Southern Poverty Law Center and we can see exactly what they're trying to do to mess with Tim Pool's business. Timcast IRL, a live stream that serves as a soapbox for the anti-democracy hard right. What? How is Timcast IRL serving as a soapbox for the anti-democracy alt-right? That doesn't even make any sense. Generates consistent profit for YouTube through the company's super chat function, according to a new study published by the Institute for Strategic Dialogue. Well, I'm betting that's an Orwellian name. YouTube's Super Chats and Super Stickers function enables viewers to pay money in order to push their comments into a more visible position on the site during the live stream. ISD's study demonstrated that across 100 videos on the Timcast IRL channel from October 2020 through November 2021, the channel pulled in over $200,000 through Super Chats, sending $65,000 to YouTube itself. Timcast IRL averages over 2,000 per super chats per broadcast, the report found. To be really honest with you, that's actually less than I thought he made. That is significantly less than I thought he made in super chats. I mean, it's still a really good amount of money. Like, good for him, man. Listen, for the few criticisms that I may have of Tim Pool not yet understanding a definition of critical race theory, what I will not take away from him is how hard that guy works, how hard he has worked for a long, long period of time. And you know what? He's reaping the rewards of his labors at this point. People always think that overnight sensations happen overnight, when in fact they probably take 10 years of hard work to become an overnight sensation, right? ISD also discovered that YouTube has taken profit from Timcast IRL super chat comments that advocate violence. Well, I mean, you can chat in whatever you want to in super chats. That is the entire flipping point. Tim has no control over this. Social media performer Tim Pool, 36, hosts Timcast IRL, known for wearing a knit winter cap year-round during his broadcasts and portraying himself as a disaffected liberal. Portraying himself, he literally is a disaffected liberal who comes to support Donald Trump. Pool has pushed his commentary in an extreme hard right direction for years. Former President Donald Trump invited Pool and other loyalists, including disinformation peddler Ali Alexander. Whatever happened to Ali Alexander? Listen, that guy disappeared. That guy, I do think he got a bad rap for January 6th because his rally at the Capitol, which is why I ended up at the Capitol on January 6th, because Brandon and Shamika were supposed to speak at Ali Alexander's rally, and so I was going to support them. Like, his rally at the Capitol on January 6th was permitted. It wasn't like he got a bad rap on that, and I detest that I have to defend Ali Alexander because I think he's a grifter and a horrible person. But like, he did get a bad rap for that. And Gateway pundit founder Jim Hoff to a social media summit at the White House in July 2019. The nonpartisan Election Integrity Partnership, which is composed of researchers from the Stanford University and University of Washington, included Pool in a group of verified Twitter super spreaders who pushed disinformation about the 2020 election prior to the attack on the Capitol. Timcast IRL currently claims over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Hate Watch reached out. Hate Watch? They're calling Tim Pool a hate site? Are you effing kidding me? I really think the level of bullshit that we have reached is why I completely lack energy anymore. I just there's only so much nonsense that one can undergo. Hang on. Sorry, I just had to lower my desk. I have one of those desks that I can raise or lower. It's a standing desk that I never use the standing function of. Anyway, so I actually I really think that the level of bullshit in regards to the media just portraying everyone they disagree with as hateful alt-right lunatics is part of the reason I have no energy. I can't I feel like I have reached the maximum amount of nonsense that one person can reasonably expect it to consume. Hate watch? Like, did anyone even bother to watch literally Friday's episode of Tim Pool, which is the only episode that I have watched of his in over a year? Hate watch reached out to Pool, but also did not receive a reply. It is exhausting, isn't it? It really is exhausting to be inundated with this crap day in, day out, all the time. Man, I've got to start taking better care of myself. I own that. I've got to start taking the advice that I wrote about in my book about self-care strategies. And I recommend all you do the same as well, because this is the world we're in. We can't escape it. So we've got to do something to create our own sense of balance. Threats of violence, war, and doxing. ISD found examples of Timcast IRL viewers paying money to advocate for violence. Well, these people probably believe words are violence. On January 5th, the day before Trump supporters attacked the US Capitol, a Timcast IRL user paid $6.66 to write, "Prepare yourself. The wicked and immoral will be annihilated. This is the only way." Another user paid $4.99 to publish, "The time of war is here. Only a fool still has faith in the courts." Well, that's a little ironic, because for those of you who have been on my channel for a while, you know that on Nothing Remotely Controversial on January 5th, probably at the same time that this show was airing on Tim Pool, Joshua, because I have a psychic on my channel every Tuesday. Yeah, I'm a little weird. It's the way it goes. But Joshua, who is the psychic, predicted on January 5th, he predicted January 6th was going to happen. So was he predicting violence? Was Joshua, through the course of being a psychic, that accurately predicted January 6th on January 5th, one day before it happened? Was he advocating for violence according to the Southern Poverty Law Center? Is psychicking now considered violence? I bet if I had Tim Pool numbers, they would have actually considered that violence. Like, how crazy is that? In the aftermath of violence that took place on January 6th, which left 5 people dead. No, it didn't. Fake news. Timcast IRL users paid to amplify comments celebrating the attack. Yes, January 6th didn't go far enough. I said what I said. I'm not sorry about it. For those saying it did nothing, the most powerful person in the world were laying on the ground and hiding behind their chairs because, for a moment, their bubble that made them untouchable was popped. A Timcast IRL viewer paid $20 to publish that on January 7th, 2021, referring to politicians who described fearing for their lives. Fish Addict said, "I don't think nothing remotely controversial occurred this past Tuesday." No, it did not. It was supposed to, and then Joshua had an emergency at the last minute. He's going to be back this week. He is fine. Everything is fine. There was just a last minute emergency. That was all it was. So I apologize it didn't air this week. We have so many questions for Joshua this week. I have so many, and don't worry, for people who super chatted in early, I got your questions, so we'll be asking them on Tuesday, hopefully. Emphasize says the expanded definition of critical to defining it. Well, the expanded definition is critical to defining CRT rather than being intentionally vague, considering CRT and critical theory are theories. Well, that's not the point at all, Emphasize. The point is defining how it actually shows up in the real world. And Murphy's Pool says watermelon flavored beer is transphobic. I've never really had a good watermelon flavored beer, if I'm honest. Maybe a seltzer. Not a good watermelon flavored beer. Anyway, Pool's commentary sometimes frames the US as being divided beyond repair and destined for a second civil war, as Hate Watch has previously reported. Former QAnon personality and current congressperson Marjorie Taylor Greene appeared on Timcast IRL in February 2022 to complain about Twitter suspending one of her accounts. She made similar comments, suggesting that if Democrats and Republicans could not agree, they needed to consider separating. You know what? Just like a marriage, I don't like the way you're treating me. I'm asking you to change, which is what Republicans should be saying to Democrats right now. Stop this behavior. You have to change. We all have to live here together. We should care about our country together. And if you're not, then maybe we need to consider, maybe we need to separate. And what does that look like, Green said, as Right Wing Watch previously reported. ISD also found examples of Timcast IRL Super Chat users spreading COVID-19 disinformation and making racist commentary. Oh my God. Jack Lawrence, a man who operates the Twitter account Tim Pool Clips, told Hate Watch that Timcast IRL users have used YouTube's super chat function to dox people to share their private information for the purpose of harassing them. For evidence, Lawrence submitted to HateWatch a clip from October 27th, 2020, where someone clearly pays $5 to list a man's name, home address, and birth date. HateWatch is not sharing this example to avoid further publicizing the man's private information. Yeah, that sucks. People shouldn't be doing that. They should have had moderators to immediately redact that super chat. I don't know how they like. Does Tim even moderate his chat? I don't know the answer to this. Again, I don't watch his show, so I have no idea. But yeah, like if people are being doxxed, that should absolutely be something that they have people. I mean, isn't that like Lydia's job? I would think. Anyway, there's no excuse for that, but at the same time, that's not Tim Pool's fault. Tim Pool cannot control what people type into super chats any more than I can or any other content creator can. You guys can type in whatever you want, but if you type in nonsense, I'm probably going to moderate it. A soapbox for extremists. Poole has attracted the interest of researchers who cover far right extremism in recent years by lending his highly trafficked YouTube platform to reactionaries that social media companies have suspended. He has hosted such guests as Enrique Tarrio of the neo fascist Proud Boys, who now faces charges that he conspired to block certification in the 2020 election during the January 6, 2021 attack at the US Capitol. Was Enrique Tarrio even there? Because wasn't he? I don't know. I don't know the details of that. I mean, I'm not like the defender of Enrique Tarrio, except to point out that he's not white and they keep accusing him of leading a white supremacist group. Tarrio has pleaded not guilty and awaits trial. Poole has also appeared with anti government conspiracy theorist Alex Jones and former Trump advisor Steve Bannon, among other figures who pushed Trump's lies about the 2020 election. In 2021, Poole hired as an editor for his website a veteran news blogger named Cassandra McDonald, who rose to social media prominence using her maiden name, Cassandra Fairbanks. Okay, Cassandra Fairbanks is a psycho. And yes, Cassandra Fairbanks is absolutely 100% linked with very, very bad people. I know that because although this is not something I've covered like publicly, Cassandra Fairbanks' name kept when I was investigating the white identitarians for like the anti-white article that I wrote back in September. Cassandra Fairbanks' name came up over and over and over and over and over again. And I was going to expound on it had we continued the series, but sadly, we did not continue the series because someone decided he didn't want to be a journalist and wanted to be a drama queen on Twitter instead. But Cassandra Fairbanks is a psycho and is absolutely linked with very bad people. That's all I have to say about that. McDonald, as Fairbanks, helped spread the Pizzagate lie in 2016 and pro-Trump election disinformation in 2020. She has appeared at events with white power activists as a guest contributor to the white nationalist website. I don't know how to pronounce that. She once wrote for the Kremlin-funded website Sputnik and has made comments appearing to support fascism and Putin's invasion of Ukraine. Well, that doesn't surprise me at all. Prior to working directly for Poole, McDonald appeared as a guest on his show. Tim is not thinking with the appropriate brain on that one. I don't know why he's not thinking with the appropriate brain. He's thinking with the little one, not the big one. It's my theory anyway. I've seen Cassandra's bondage porn. Half the internet has seen Cassandra's bondage porn. Just saying. Although I should say this, just because I don't like Cassandra Fairbanks does not actually mean that I think her portrayal here is accurate. I just don't like the bitch. So I'm not actually giving, I want to be very clear. I'm not trying to give credence to the Southern Poverty Law Center and this absurd hit piece. There are many reasons to dislike Cassandra Fairbanks that have nothing to do with what's going on here. Poole has also featured extremist political operative Jack Posobiec on 32 different episodes. Jack Posobiec is okay. I don't always agree with Jack Posobiec's takes, and I do think he's kind of like a shill for this movement. I do. I'm sorry, Jack. But Jack Posobiec is also like one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. He really is. He's a nice guy. I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's an extremist of any sort. I think he's very conservative. I think I just think he's very, very, very much more conservative than I am. But he's a really good person. And he does really good work too, to be honest. Like Jack Posobiec knows everything that's going on about everything. Yeah, he's a nerd. He's definitely a nerd. That's very, very true. Yeah. Um Another amplifier of Pizzagate and Trump's Stop the Steal campaign, Posobiec emerged as a public figure through his ties to white supremacists and gained notoriety for creating and amplifying disinformation. Well, they're not giving, okay. Pool hosted Posobiec on November 24th, 2021 edition of Timcast IRL, which discussed the fatal car ramming incident at the Christmas parade in Wisconsin. A black man, Daryl Brooks, awaits trial on 77 charges in conjunction with the incident, which left 6 people dead and scores of other injured. Poole called the incident a terror attack, mirroring rhetoric espoused by the racist right. Well, what would you call it? The guy didn't he drive a van into a crowd? I mean, he's facing 77 different charges. What would you call it? SPLC? How is that not a terror attack? I think it's obvious. I think anyone who looks at the story, in the absence of evidence, the solution with the least amount of assumptions tends to be correct. And that looks like a terror attack, a racial, political terror attack based on what this guy said and believed. Police had dismissed the possibility of the car ramming incident being a terror attack days earlier. Well, we should totally trust the police when they say the thing that we want them to say, shouldn't we? This hit piece is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This hit piece is basically the Southern Poverty Law Center saying, in the history of Timcast IRL, 3 people have sent in questionable super chats that we don't like. I mean, that was basically the extent of this, right? Tim Pool makes a lot of money from super chats. YouTube takes a cut of those super chats. YouTube makes money off of Tim Pool being on their show. Here are 3 examples of questionable super chats that we disagree with. That's what we're talking about. And we wonder why we have no faith in anything anymore. All right, guys, please mount that like button if you are enjoying the show so far. Let's move into our abortion section of the debate now. I'm not going to go into a lot of the nonsense surrounding the attacks on pro life clinics, nor am I going to discuss the protests that are currently taking place outside of the Supreme Court Justice's house, because those should not be surprises to anyone in any way. In fact, I told everyone this was going to happen. I think that they're only getting started. I think most people predicted that this was going to happen. They're just getting started. They're just starting to ramp up. It's going to get a lot worse. Like, everyone better hang on to their hats. I think that this is really going to escalate very quickly, and I think it's going to go way out of control. I mean, Jack Posobiec has even been tweeting about this today, pointing out about how the government, the Biden administration, is basically sanctioning this stuff. And what conservatives are doing, which is stupid. Okay, maybe I'm going to talk about this a little bit. What conservatives are doing, which is stupid, is conservatives are being like, this is an opportunity to point out how hypocritical the Democrats are. And if this happened on how is this not an insurrection if January 6th was an insurrection? They're doing it to try to point out hypocrisy when no one cares about the hypocrisy. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. If pointing out the hypocrisy of the left was the only strategy that we needed to enact in order to defeat the left, that would have started working about 2 years ago, okay? Now, that's not to say I don't think there's any value to pointing out their hypocrisy. I absolutely think there's value to pointing out their hypocrisy. But when all you're doing is pointing out the hypocrisy over and over and over again, and you're not taking any other sort of other action in conjunction with it, then you're going to start having some problems. And I think we're going to have a lot of problems because I don't think the conservatives are going to do anything else other than say, well, if this was January 6th, they would have called this an insurrection. Duh. Duh. We know that. It's not actually going to help you gain people that aren't already on your side. But that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the fact that Joy Reid seems to be saying that right-wingers are using this as an attempt to attack Ketanji Brown Jackson for leaking. I swear to God. Now, I have seen, they're just like, MSNBC is literally just making things up at this point This is made up. I've seen 2 names floated by the right for people who could have released this report. The first name we saw was from this guy, Matt, who I think, to be honest, extremely irresponsibly sent out a tweet that got over 1,400, almost 10, over 10, actually, I'm doing math, 11,000 retweets. He put this kid's name out saying, this is obviously the guy that did it because he was quoted in an article by the same guy who worked for Politico. I thought that this was really irresponsible of the right to do. I was also, a little less, I really like Will Chamberlain a lot. Listen, if you follow no one else on Twitter, follow Will Chamberlain, because Will Chamberlain has one of the most balanced views I've seen. I think he takes a really nuanced perspective. He's also willing to tell the conservatives when they're being ridiculous. Will Chamberlain was one of the few people that was really telling conservatives before January 6th, he was like, nothing's going to get overturned, nothing's going to get overturned, nothing's going to get overturned, nothing's going to get overturned. And he was like hammering that, and he took a metric F ton of shit for that. So when Will Chamberlain says something, I tend to actually listen and pay attention to what he's saying, because I do think that he's right an awful lot of the time, and I appreciate his nuanced take. I don't think he's as much of a reactionary, but I was a little annoyed at him because he posted a thread too, positing who the person was that leaked the decision. And I will say that his posit was based entirely on publicly available information, and he was very clear that he could be wrong. And so my point here is that I actually have seen the right float names for people that they believe could have been the leakers of the Roe decision, and obviously it came from the left. Obviously it came from the left. The left leaked this because they knew it was a win for them to leak it. But what I have not seen, and what I think MSNBC is literally just making up, is Joy Reid and her producers are positing that right-wingers are accusing Ketanji Brown Jackson of leaking the decision. Let's read. Right-wingers' bizarre attempt to tie Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Roe leak. Conservatives are in search of a boogeyman or boogie woman to distract from the Supreme Court leak on the likely overturning of abortion rights. There's literally nothing the conservative movement is unwilling to blame on Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first Black woman confirmed to the Supreme Court. Right-wing senators prepped her with a bigoted bluster throughout her confirmation hearings in March, desperate to paint her as an enemy of justice, claims undermined by her broad and fervent bipartisan support. But now, as the GOP looks to distract from what appears to be the Supreme Court's inevitable decision to overturn abortion rights, conservative figures are drawing from the blame Judge Jackson well yet again. They're literally just making shit up. These claims are even more ridiculous the second time around. On Wednesday, Greg, a host of a far-right network, Newsmax, floated his ingenious theory that Jackson, who hasn't even been seated on the Supreme Court yet, was responsible for leaking the court's apparent decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Did he actually say this? Oh, God. Did he actually say this? Hang on. I'm going to pull this into Chrome. We're going to watch this together. We're going to watch it together, because I actually want to see what he said. Hang on. Share screen. No, I will not enable ads. MSNBC is trying to make me give them money. I'm saying no, I will not give you money, MSNBC. I will not at all in any way. All right, let's hear what Greg said.
We're not telling them what they can do to their bodies, though. We're telling them what they can't do to a baby, a precious life. And speaking of Ketanji Brown Jackson, you just saw there, I find it suspect that the first leak coming out of the Supreme Court in history comes shortly after Judge Jackson is confirmed. I want to know if her law clerks, who I am sure have already been hired, possibly even working at the High Court already, before her swearing in, have access to these draft decisions. She would be my first suspect when it comes to the leak, because Ketanji Brown Jackson is a radical left-wing activist, more radical than any other justice in the history
No,
of the
that's
Supreme
actually
Court.
not
I
true.
believe she is
Sonia
capable
Sotomayor is
of
way more
undermining the court
radical
this
than
way.
Ketanji Brown Jackson. Wow. Okay, Newsmax are some morons. Another unforced error from conservatives. It must be a day that ends in Y. Just like, let's just keep handing the left wins. She's not even on the court yet. She's literally not even on the court yet. Oh my God. Idiots. Idiots. I hesitate to even give this any attention, but since we're apparently floating crackpot conspiracy theories, I have a few of my own. Instead of Jackson, perhaps Republicans should look into late Justice Thurgood Marshall as a suspect. He's been suspiciously quiet since the news broke. Now, just because Newsmax said something insane, and Newsmax did say something insane, I'm sorry, conservatives, they did, that actually does not make MSNBC less insane. Because MSNBC and Newsmax are the same. They're just the same on their respective sides. They're exactly the same animal. They may also want to check in on TV judges Greg Mathis and Joe Brown. A name like Brown is sure to rile suspicion among the GOP. Holy shit. Wow. Or maybe the leaker's Aaron Judge, the star slugger for the New York Yankees. Honestly, all of these allegations would be just as incredible as the claim about Jackson. To be fair, while MSNBC is being antagonistic and racist and hyperbolic, they're not actually wrong. They're not actually wrong when they say that all of those choices would be very similar to Ketanji Brown Jackson. They're not wrong. Of course, he wasn't the only one pathetically trying to link the leak to Jackson. GOP Senator Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee said Wednesday that Democrats might try to seat Jackson before the justice she's replacing, Stephen Breyer, has had a chance to leave. That's not actually the same thing, MSNBC. Blackburn claimed Democrats might start pushing Chief Justice John Roberts to seat Jackson because they're trying to push the balance of the court. No one has floated the idea as a potential solution to starve off the effort of Roe v. Wade. No one but Blackburn, that is. And there's obviously no practical way of doing what she baselessly suggests Democrats are considering. All of this fear-mongering does emphasize that Republicans see an opportunity of sorts in the leak of the Supreme Court. I don't know what that says. The draft opinion. We see a chance to spin it as a liberal conspiracy and an opening to introduce their favorite scapegoats into the conversation. Well, okay. We need to be real, MSNBC. This was obviously leaked by the left. It was obviously and totally leaked by the left. Conservatives are literally the people who, when they break into the Capitol on January 6th, walk between the velvet ropes. That's who conservatives are. They are rule followers. This was obviously and completely leaked by the left. No one benefits from this except for the left. So let's not pretend for one red second that this is a conservative conspiracy theory, because right now it's the conservative judges who are being accosted in their homes by left-wing protesters. Crazy. But the flip side to this, of course, is that conservatives set this up for them, didn't they? Conservatives set this up admirably. They were like, let's do another unforced error in 3, 2, 1, Newsmax, go! The left is crazy, but the right is incompetent. I don't know which is worse. Is it worse to be crazy, or is it worse to be incompetent in the face of fighting crazy? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Let's keep going. Let's see. Well, just in case, let's keep our abortion theme going. There are options that women have when it comes to preventing themselves from giving birth. The option I availed myself when I was in college and wanted to have a metric fuck ton of irresponsible sex was I took birth control and I used condoms, and I kept a close eye on the times of the month that I was actually fertile. And between all three of those strategies, none of which was impossible for me to accomplish on my own, I somehow managed to have a metric fuck ton of unprotected, well, not unprotected, of irresponsible sex in my 20s. That's the word I'm looking for, not unprotected, because we did use obviously. I managed to have a metric F ton of irresponsible sex in my 20s and never get pregnant. What a glorious thing when you take very simple precautions. But are those simple precautions enough for women who are now freaking out over the fact that they might not be able to use abortion as birth control? Because while I am pro-choice, I am pro-choice with limits. While I am pro-choice, I do not support using abortion as a birth control method. But apparently, those options just aren't good enough for your average woman that supports Roe v. Wade, and they're turning to sterilization. Because, you know, why not just throw the baby out with the bathwater entirely? I mean, part of me says it's kind of like, is anyone familiar with the Shakers? The Shakers are one of those crazy religions that, like, it was kind of a little bit cultish, but they made beautiful furniture. Like, if you can find, like, Shaker furniture, like, Shaker furniture is, like, it's really good. It's really good. But one of the weird things about the Shakers was the Shakers didn't allow sex as part of their religion. They all slept in separate beds. They didn't allow people to procreate. And so because there was no procreation, the Shaker religion eventually died out. Because as it turns out, in order to create something that is long and lasting over the course of hundreds of years, you need to get more people in the religion. And in order to do that, you probably need to have sex. And if you are not having sex and producing children or spawn from that sex, it is probably going to die out. So I'm not actually upset that probably crazy people are opting to sterilize themselves because they're upset about Roe v. Wade. Let's talk to Vince here. I've listened to your videos for 2 solid years now. I have no idea what has happened to you personally, but much of your content has devolved to gossip and personal attacks. Enough. See, I wanted to talk about this because I hear this a lot. I hear this a lot from people who never show up in chat. I hear this a lot from people who never show up in comments. I hear this a lot from people who don't avail themselves of the 7 days a week of content that I create on several different channels across the internet, across a variety of topics. All they want to do is complain like Vince about every once in a while I do a video that they don't like. And then they choose to ignore every other effing video that I've produced, which is well over 1,000 on this channel. They ignore every other bit of content that I've produced. They ignore the live streams every single day of the week. They ignore all the clips. They ignore the podcast. They ignore the exclusive stuff in locals. They ignore everything because I dared to produce a video that they did not like. So Vince, because you are announcing your departure, I'm happy to put you, like, enjoy your block, my friend. Jesus Christ. Gee, you just can't win. You can't win sometimes. Man. So guys, if you have feelings around me occasionally producing a video that you don't like, work them out. Work them out. And, if you can't, go somewhere else. It's all good. All right, concerned about Roe. These women are turning to sterilization. For women who don't want children, sterilization is safe and common option, but following the Supreme Court decision, it's taken on a new sense of direness and urgency. Oh God, I don't know how to pronounce that. A gas station clerk, Eleanor, is just 20, but she knows she never wants children. Okay, I'm sorry. When you're 20, yes, Lewis, I did literally just defend Tim Pool. I did. That happened. When you're 20, your brain hasn't fully developed the logic reason function yet. And so I would be, I would have pause with someone making a life altering decision about their fertility at the age of 20. I'm just saying. But she knows she never wants to have children at 20. I have a lot of trauma from my childhood and from how my mother treated me, she tells me. I wouldn't want to risk continuing the cycle of abuse. So, for the last few years, she's been researching sterilization procedures, including a word that I am not going to be able to spell. Well, the reality is that the more personal videos I do, they tend to sometimes be the more popular videos. So for every person that complains about Carlin did a video about drama, oh my god, the reality is they tend to be the more popular videos. So if people want the non-dramatic videos, then they should start watching the non-dramatic videos and giving a thumbs up to the non-dramatic videos and sharing the non-dramatic videos. Like nothing would make me happier, but for some reason you guys want drama. So, you know what? It is what it is. So she's specifically doing a sterilization procedure, an operation in which one or both of her fallopian tubes are going to be removed. But it wasn't until earlier this week when a leaked draft revealed that the Supreme Court had voted to overturn Roe v. Wade, the landmark 1973 ruling that made safe, legal abortion a constitutional right, that Eleanor finally decided to try and book the appointment with a gynecologist. I'm terrified of having to go through pregnancy, she explains. If women already aren't sterile and don't get sterilized as soon as possible, lives are going to be lost. Well, that's a little dramatic, isn't it? Eleanor is one of the many women ramping up their efforts to get sterilized or even newly considering the procedure in light of the possible countrywide rollout of America's abortion right or rollback rather of America's abortion rights. After the Supreme Court draft was shared by Politico on May 2nd, scores of women took to social media to express newfound interest in sterilization. Lament misogynistic doctors who refuse the procedure to women because you could change your mind and sue, read one tweet, and shared resources about providers. Over on Reddit's r/childfree subreddit, a trending post about sterilization information got nearly 1,000 upvotes and over 100 comments. But for many women, sterilization isn't as simple as just calling the doctor and booking an appointment. As reported by The Conversation in 2018, women in the US face apparently I just can't pronounce things when I'm tired, extraordinary difficulties in seeking the birth control method of sterilization. Regularly being denied the procedure due to gendered assumptions that they'll one day regret and facing significantly higher monetary barriers to it than men. In fact, a vasectomy is 5 times cheaper than tubal ligation, another female sterilization procedure in which the fallopian tubes are tied rather than removed. Here we've got an example of a tweet. Now is a good time to wish a very FU to every natalist doctor who has refused permanent sterilization and hysterectomies to patients who need or want these procedures because you could change your mind and sue. Or some hypothetical man you date might want kids. Die. That's a little dramatic. And then we've got this one right here. Calling up doctors for sterilization starting tomorrow. Smiley face. You will not force me to forever carry a parasite in my body that is more valuable than my own 26 years of life. Huh. Still, with abortion potentially soon to be banned and access to birth control often being difficult and costly for a number of women, trans men, and non-binary people with What? Listen to this sentence. Hang on. Listen to this sentence. For a number of women. Okay, hang on. I should probably start at the beginning. With abortion potentially soon to be banned. Well, that's not really true, but okay, let's play pretend. And access to birth control often being difficult and costly. Also not true, but again, let's play pretend. For a number of women, trans men, and non binary people with vaginas, sterilization may feel like the last option, even if acquiring that too is hard. As one Twitter user pointed out, people feeling compelled to get vasectomies and hysterectomies because of current abortion laws is a very short trip from forced sterilization. America has a long and disturbing history of forced sterilization. You don't say. Some might even say our history of sterilization is rather racist, which is driven by eugenics and particularly targets women of color and disabled people. It's still going on today. Just think back to Britney Spears' forced IUD as a recent high-profile example. Summarily, jokes suggesting that men should be forced to get vasectomies is not only missing the point of bodily autonomy, but actively calling for forced sterilization. Furthermore, the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecologists noted in its 2017 report on the ethics of female sterilization, women can also be coerced into sterilization, and a ban on abortions may only serve to increase this kind of pressure and intimidation. Listen, dude, if you are incapable of walking into a Planned Parenthood and grabbing a handful of the free condoms that they have right by the door, or if you are incapable of going to the damn CVS and getting yourself some birth control, or getting the morning after pill, which is available now over the counter, if you are incapable of doing any of those things, then why would you be so motivated to get effing sterilized? Finding someone to sterilize you is resoundingly harder than walking into the Planned Parenthood and grabbing a handful of free condoms or getting a birth control prescription. Jesus Christ. It is not hard to not get pregnant if you don't want to get pregnant. It really is not. It's not hard. Of course, sterilization of any kind of birth control for that matter isn't the solution to the abortion debate, and affordable, accessible, and legal abortion should be accessible to anyone who wants or needs them. Abortion is an essential component of comprehensive medical care, says Jen, the lead for equity transformation at the American College of Gynecologists. Access to abortion care improves the health and well-being of those who need it. And data has shown that restrictions to access to care only causes harm. Quite simply, people will always need access to abortion. Contraception fails, lives change, unexpected complications occur. No matter what an individual's reason for abortion, it's essential that they have access to an abortion when they need it. These people are psychotic. Truly, truly, truly psychotic. Yeah, birth control is not expensive. It is not. It is not. She paid $4 for like 10 days worth. It is not expensive. Planned Parenthood has a sliding payment scale for birth control. You can get birth control very, very, very cheaply. Like, you can pay for a nice, like, large soy latte at Starbucks for the same price as you can pay for birth control at Planned Parenthood. It is the same price for a cup of coffee. Literally a cup of coffee. That's what we're talking about. Nevertheless, millions of people like Eleanor, who live in trigger law states, may soon be at a loss for anything else to do aside from sterile. Are you kidding me? They're actually saying that sterilization is people's only option. Eleanor's in Tennessee, where in June 2020, Republicans voted to ban abortion as early as 6 weeks after contraception, before most women even know they're pregnant. After initially being prevented from taking effect thanks to the district court injunction, a federal appeals court blocked the law in September 21. But if Roe v. Wade were to be overturned, as the leaked draft suggests it might be, Tennessee would be one of 13 states that would enforce strict, inhumane abortion laws, following the footsteps of Texas, which already enacted their near total ban. These people make it really, really difficult for me to be pro-choice. They really do. Listen, man, I have members of my locals community whose parents were literally told to have an abortion. And they're wonderful people. And I'm really glad their parents didn't have an abortion, and I'm really glad they're here. And that to me says something. It's not as though I don't understand the pro-life argument, and there's a lot of validity to the pro-life argument. I oftentimes think that pro-life activists are their own worst enemies, because I hate pro-life activists far more than I actually hate the pro-life argument. But at the end of the day, there is something that pro-life activists still have not accounted for, and that's what to do in instances of rape. And they always want to deny that rape happens, or they say, oh, that's just onesies and twosies. Those onesies and twosies don't matter. And as a woman who's been raped, I assure you, those onesies and twosies do matter. They do matter. And so the fact that they wanted to force people like me, if I had gotten pregnant via rape, they wanted to force me to have the child of my rapist? No, not okay with that. Not acceptable. There's no middle ground for these people. There's no middle ground on either side. But these people in this article that are saying there's just no other option other than sterilization. That's the only thing we can possibly do. How about stop having sex if you're that afraid? Really simple solution. If you don't have sex, you can't get pregnant. If you do want to have sex, use birth control, use a condom, use an app on your phone that tracks when you're fertile. It is really not that difficult. No one should need to get sterilized over this. And so these people make it extremely difficult for me to support them. And probably the reason that I do at this point is that I know what it's like to be one of those women who was raped. I know what it's like to be afraid that I was going to get pregnant and didn't know what to do. I know what it's like to not want to just skip right down to the CVS the morning after you've been raped to go get the morning after pill. I know what it's like to not go to the police to report it because I knew no one would believe me. And sure enough, when I finally did start talking about it 3 months after it happened, no one did believe me. I know all of those things. And that is probably the thing that makes me pro-choice today. But these people make it extremely difficult. George Andre Veloso Nunez says, it amazes me how they are using the same language House MD used in that abortion episode. I'll have to ask Victor about that. Victor watched House. I didn't really. Let's see. Women's reproductive health is being held hostage, Eleanor said. Lawmakers are undoing almost a century of work, and they're not even stopping abortion. They're revoking access to safe abortion, meaning women and people with uteruses. Women and people with uteruses. People with uteruses will die. She's right. Banning abortion doesn't stop it from happening. It just forces women to go through the life-threatening pregnancy and seek more dangerous ways of acquiring termination. I actually agree with that. I don't think that revoking Roe v. Wade, and I don't think that states banning it, I don't think it's going to reduce abortion. I think it's going to create more abortion. I think it's going to create a lot more unsafe abortion. I think it's going to create a lot more like women doing crazy, crazy, crazy things. But it's not going to reduce abortion. And conservatives are lying to themselves if they think it is. Obviously, though, it's not just red states in fear of the landmark ruling being overturned. In the battleground state of Pennsylvania, 29-year-old clinical coordinator Ashley, not her real name, is feeling a stronger sense of urgency to get sterilized. Ashley has been thinking about sterilization for a few years, but only just asked her doctor for a bilateral, removing the fallopian tubes in December 2021. I might have considered it sooner, but it didn't even occur to me that surgery would have been an option for women who already didn't have several children, she reflects. It's unsurprising that Ashley held this belief, as many doctors do, in fact, refuse to sterilize child-free women. After a few months of scheduling, Ashley completed a pre-op appointment and now has her surgery set for next week. And she's saying, oh, I don't think this is her, but, well, maybe it is her. I don't know. They put the tweet in there rather oddly. There's just no winning for women or AFABs. What's an AFAB? Does anyone know what an AFAB is? Birth control isn't affordable. Wrong. Sterilization is out of the question unless you find a doctor. Sterilization is out of the question unless you find yourself a rare, non-misogynistic doctor. Safe abortions are at risk for being made illegal. The news this week about Roe v. Wade shows me that I've been right to be afraid, and that sterilization needs to be a priority. Thank you, Nat D. That's kind of like what I thought. Assigned female at birth. Got it. Even though I was scheduled for the surgery before the news broke, I'm still waiting for prior authorization results and now feel motivated to aggressively push back. if I'm denied coverage. Many women who've already had the procedure done echo Ashley's view, saying that Monday's bombshell has made them increasingly thankful that they did it. This is true for 30-year-old project manager Jessica, again, not her real name, who, despite living in Colorado, where the right to an abortion is encoded in state law, decided to undergo a sterilization procedure in February. She had a thing I'm not going to pronounce, in which the lining of her uterus was removed. The minimally invasive operation was performed by a doctor she found in r/child free. While that doesn't seem like an extreme decision at all, I've been thinking about getting sterilized for the past several years to getting the procedure, but late last year, when we all found out that Roe was in danger of being overturned, my first thought was that I better do it before it's illegal. These people really think they're going to make The Handmaid's Tale. They do. As she used a specifically recommended doctor, Jessica says she was approved for the procedure immediately. I thought I'd get some kind of pushback, being only 30 years old and unmarried with no kids. But the doctor didn't question me at all, she explains. The procedure was completed 3 weeks later. Jessica, who's single and uninterested in marriage, has never told her family about the procedure and doesn't have any plans to. She says her mom would be devastated. But she has told some friends who she says were 100% supportive. Well, what's the option? What is the option? She adds, "It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. I have no desire to be a parent." Got some more tweets there. This article still goes on for a little bit. I don't really feel like reading anymore because, quite frankly, it's rather depressing. It's rather depressing that the left has become so incredibly unhinged on this issue that they really think that there is no compromise. That they're like, if I can't have an abortion up until the moment the baby is born, I just don't want, I might just have to sterilize myself. If I can't use abortion as birth control, it's too hard. It is too hard to go to the Planned Parenthood and get a handful of condoms. It's just too much. It's too much. I must get sterilized. Like, are you kidding me? It is bad energy. Yes, Nat D, it is bad energy. It is. So let's move on. Let's move on to something that I'm not sure is actually better energy, but is different. The Menstrual Dignity Act requires menstrual products in boys' bathrooms. Congratulations, men. You're getting tampons in your bathrooms too. Conservatives are seeing red over a new Oregon law that requires menstrual products to be offered inside boys' bathrooms in state public schools. In July 2021, Democratic Governor Kate Brown signed the controversial Menstrual Dignity Act, which requires all K through 12 schools to provide free sanitary products to students, along with instructions for their use. Well, that's good. That's good because at least the boys' bathrooms will have a poster or something that shows them how to use the tampon. I suppose that's progress. Starting next year, products will be made available in all restrooms, male, female, and all gender, in every PPS building where education occurs, the Portland School District said in a 2021 statement. To ensure timely compliance, PPS ordered 500 dispensers. Dispensers have been installed in all elementary and middle school girls' bathrooms, and more will be installed in the remaining bathrooms, including boys' bathrooms, next year, according to Fox News. Instructions on how to use the tampons and pads will be posted in all bathrooms. The Beaver States District also encouraged parents to talk to their kids about reducing the shame and stigma surrounding getting their periods, according to the network. In March, the state education department also issued a menstrual dignity for students toolkit containing instructions on how to use menstrual products and tips for menstruation positive link. Why are these people obsessed with periods? Yes, Captain Phoenix. Yes, yes. Beaver State. It is real. This is real. Why are these people obsessed with periods? Periods are gross. They're awful. If any man out there would like to take mine off of my hands, they are welcome to fucking have it. I don't understand this obsession. It is weird. It's cringe. It's gross. Women don't obsess this much about periods. Importantly, the Menstrual Dignity Act affirms the right to menstrual dignity for transgender, intersex, non binary, and two-spirit students by addressing the challenges that some students have managing menstruation while minimizing negative attention that could put them at risk of harm and navigating experiences of gender dysphoria during menstruation. My God. Alex, you're going to have a helpful poster in your bathroom showing you exactly where you're supposed to put the tampon. There'll be instruction, maybe they'll even produce a helpful video. God. You think this isn't going to backfire when it comes to bullying? You know exactly what's going to happen. Captain Phoenix says they tried doing condom dispensers in elementary and middle schools in my area. Guess what boys do with boys' bathrooms when they put free dispensers in them? No way that's exactly right. That's what I'm saying. This is going to backfire colossally. Anyone who has ever seen an 80s movie knows how badly this is going to backfire. Oh, Libs of TikTok got a mention. Oh, that's fun. Research also connects to gender-affirming bathroom access to supporting student safety at school, it added. Meanwhile, a video posted by Libs of TikTok apparently shows a tampon dispenser inside a boy's bathroom. The new law has incurred the wrath of Republicans, including Oregon gubernatorial candidate, conservative writer Bridget Barton, who slammed Brown. I mean, has it incurred wrath, really? Or more just like, this is crazy? Radical leftist woke policies are destroying Oregon, from our streets to our businesses to our schools. But as a mom, a new grandmother, and a Republican candidate for governor, I can't believe we're even discussing this. America's most unpopular governor, Kate Brown, is putting free tampons inside boys' bathrooms at Oregon elementary schools. Well, okay, to be fair for a second, there's probably many other things that Republican gubernatorial candidate could be outraged about that are a lot less silly than this. She's not wrong, but it's also like, you've gone too far with tampons in the boys' bathrooms. Like, that's the step too far. Isn't Oregon the place where they were like literally hunting like the mayor of Portland? Weren't they wasn't Antifa literally showing up at the mayor of Portland's apartment trying to burn it down a couple years ago? And tampons in the boys' bathroom is a step too far? It just seems to me that the Republican gubernatorial candidate in Oregon probably has a lot better things to be like outraged over. That's not a dispenser in a boys' bathroom. I'm not saying I agree with it. I think it's all stupid, but you really should have priorities. Clearly, Brown cares more about what's going on in bathrooms than what's going on in classrooms. Conservatives also ripped the Menstrual Dignity Act as an attempt by the left to push the LGBT. I and many Oregonian women find your Menstrual Dignity Act. A Twitter user wrote, only in the female restroom, and only males should be in the male restroom. A third said the Menstrual Dignity Act is another example of liberal maniacs forcing the population to accept their mentally ill beliefs. I really think, okay, side note, I really think that conservatives are going to go too far on the trans stuff. I am. I think they're starting to look a little crazy. I think they're starting to look a little religious right from the 90s, the late 80s, early 90s. I don't want that back. Now, that's not, again, to say that I support any of this, but I know what conservatives do. They go too far. They go too far and they focus their energy on the wrong things. And if conservatives believe that the average person wants another moral majority from the 80s and 90s, I think that's going to be misguided. I think that ship has sailed. Some argue that the law subjects girls to bullying and shaming for using the products. All right. So, congratulations. If you live in Oregon, you're going to be getting tampons in the boys' room. It is what it is. All right, guys, we've got one more article to read, and then we're going to watch the most epic campaign video ever in the history of videos. Well, the most epic one since the War is Gay ad. But we got a new ad from Jeremy Kaufman coming out. We're going to get to that in one second. But before we do that, I want to end on some happy news. A pansexual teacher was canned for discussing her orientation with students in Florida. Why do I think someone getting fired is good news? Because there ain't no reason to talk about your sexuality with students that you are in charge of teaching. There is no reason for this foolishness. And I think that anytime any teacher gets fired for foolishness in a public school, that is a day to celebrate. Mount that like button if you agree with me on that point. Let's read. A Florida teacher claimed she was fired for discussing her pansexual status with middle school students, whom she then asked to draw pictures representing their sexual orientations. Cape Coral art instructor Casey Scott. Oh, she's an art instructor. Yes, art definitely necessitates you discussing who you sleep with. Casey Scott said her students were curious about her sexual orientation. No, they weren't. No middle school student was like, art teacher, who do you go home with at night? Who do you sleep with? What's between their legs? No student said that. That's not real. And she explained to them that she was a pansexual during a lesson in March. A discussion happened in class, and because of that, now I'm fired. Boo-hoo, too bad, so sad. Pansexual refers to someone who is attracted to all categories of people, regardless of their sex, gender identity, or sexual orientation. Scott, who is married to a man, said the kids at Trafalgar Middle School then created flags representing their own sexuality and gender identities, ranging from transgender and non-binary to gay. The first-year teacher posted their creations on her classroom door before administrators told her to take them down. They said it would be in the best interest if I got rid of them now. Scott said she crumpled up the pictures and put them in the trash. Lee School District officials said some students understood her explanation of her sexuality, while others were left confused. I can't possibly understand why someone would be confused with the sexuality of pansexual that basically means the same thing as bi, but not really, but kind of. I can't imagine why this would possibly be confusing to anyone in middle school. The subject matter angered some parents and students who wrote to administrators to voice their displeasure. Scott, who was working on a probationary basis and not part of the teachers' unions, was eventually told not to return to campus and that her contract was being terminated. District officials attributed her dismissal to her not following the curriculum. Well, that would be a reason, wouldn't it? The firing came just days before Governor Ron DeSantis banned instruction related to gender identity or sexual orientation for kids in kindergarten through 4th grade. Backers of the parental rights bill argue that sexual subject matter is inappropriate for young children, and the law shields them and their parents. So, guys, one teacher down. I don't know how many to go, but hopefully this discourages her. Hopefully she goes off, maybe works in an art store, maybe does some painting, doesn't go back influencing young minds. Listen, man, I don't care if she's pansexual. I don't care what her politics are. I don't care who she sleeps with. I just don't want her indoctrinating children into nonsense. I don't think I'm asking too much. I don't think so. All right, guys, for our last thing for today, yesterday, we had the world premiere of the latest ad from Jeremy Kaufman, senatorial candidate in New Hampshire. It is called Lizard Person. Let me pull up the ad in another browser so we can actually hear the sound, because the sound is important. Let me do share screen. Stop share. Share screen. Chrome tab. Let's enjoy the latest and greatest political ad of our generation. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeremy Kauffman.
They say to dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And I want to become a lizard person. I would like to rule you. I'd like to lie to your face and then do something else because it benefits me. I would like to be as corrupt as possible. I would like to enrich myself and then tell you it's for your own benefit. I'm Jeremy Kauffman, and I'm running for U.S. Senate. I'm serious.
All right, everyone. That is the latest ad from Jeremy Kauffman for Senate. I don't know. Did everyone see the War is Gay ad? Because we can watch that one real quick too. But if you support this bold messaging, the best thing you can do, if you want to see these ads keep coming, we want to do so many more ads, guys. The ads, we've got plans. There's already been some footage collected for future ads. Do you guys want to watch it again? Do you guys want to watch the War is Gay ad again? We can totally do that. We can totally do it. Let's watch the war ad. Hang on. We'll find it real quick. But guys, if you want to support Jeremy's campaign for Senate, the very best thing that you can do is go to Jeremy for New Hampshire, Jeremy, the number 4, New Hampshire, make a donation. Even if it's $5, that would really help us out. One of the things that we're working on doing right now with the campaign is we've got to collect a whole bunch of a metric ton of signatures, okay? We have to collect 3,000 signatures, half from each district. And in fact, we actually have to collect more than that because they're going to end up tossing a whole bunch out because that's just the way it works. So we're targeting 5,000 signatures, 2,500 in CD1 and CD2 in New Hampshire. If you live in New Hampshire, please come help us collect signatures, or please make a donation because then we can pay someone to collect signatures. It is a really big project, guys. I just did petitioning for the first time about a week ago. It is hard. It is really hard. And we're going to come down to the wire on this one. We will make it. I'm convinced we will make it. We've already gotten about 1,000 signatures, so we're doing really good. But we need to get more, and we do have a schedule that we need to go on. When are my ads for governor coming out? Dude, I'm not really running for governor. Come on. But I will be on the ballot when we collect those signatures. But let's make sure we look at Jeremy's War is Gay ad too, for everyone who hasn't seen it.
Picture this. Innocent people in the Middle East. They're having dinner. A bomb is dropped on their house, and they're all killed. What's the problem with this? It's being done by white men. I am Jeremy Kauffman, the Chief Diversity Officer at Halliburton and candidate for United States Senate. It is time to diversify the murderous military-industrial complex. We need to make the nukes gay. And that's why I'm running for office. Like my fellow Democrats and Republicans, I will support every war. I will support stealing billions of dollars from Americans to kill innocent people, but we are gonna make it so gay. It will go down in the history books. We will say never have so many genders and so many races killed innocent people. Let's bomb Yemen, but let's make sure a rainbow of skin colors are dropping those bombs. These are going to be the gayest transist murders the United States has ever performed. That's what I stand for as the Chief Diversity Officer at Halliburton, and that's what I'll do once elected to the United States Senate. I'm Jeremy Kauffman, and I'm gay for this message. I'm serious.
So that was the first ad. Now we've got the lizard person ad, and there will be many, 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 many more ads left in this campaign. And if you guys want to support the work that Jeremy is doing, working very hard to campaign for Senate in New Hampshire, again, please make sure you head over to jeremyfordnewhampshire.com. Make a donation. The more money you guys donate, the more amazing ads that we're going to be able to put out, and the more that we're going to be able to do with them. The goal is nothing less than the boldest, most awesome libertarian messaging that you've ever seen, with just a hint of satire and farce and the righteous indignation for which the political process requires. But Nuclear said, okay, should we play do you guys want to see the lizard person one more time before we wrap up? I know. I like that one too. I like them all. I think they're all good. Okay, we're going to do... I have actually seen the War is Gay ad like 15,000 times at this point. So if you guys want to watch that, you can head over to Jeremy's YouTube channel and watch it yourself. But let's watch the lizard person again one more time. Just for shits and giggles. Let's do it.
They say to dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And I want to become a lizard person. I would like to rule you. I'd like to lie to your face and then do something else because it benefits me. I would like to be as corrupt as possible. I would like to enrich myself and then tell you it's for your own benefit. I'm Jeremy Kaufman, and I'm running for U.S. Senate. I'm serious.
Can I tell you guys, the thing that I have not seen anyone comment on yet regarding that ad is that there is literally a shot of Jeremy smoking a blunt on his front porch. Did everyone catch that? No one has commented on this yet. There is literally a shot of Jeremy in this ad smoking a blunt on his front porch. Hang on. There it is. There it is. No one has commented on this yet. Oh my God. He's the king. Jeremy Kaufman is the undisputed king of New Hampshire. It's the way it goes. All right, guys, that's all I've got for this episode of Effed Up News. For everyone in the Unwoke Army, I am taking... I don't want to do an Unwoke Army meeting tonight just because I don't have the energy for it. I'm sorry. I do want to try to coordinate a time for us to connect this week. I just don't have the energy today. I have to go like lay down. I have to take a break. It's been a crazy week. You guys know what's going on. But I do just want to do one final reminder. Please mount that like button on the way out the door, guys. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. I do daily content on the channel. I will be live again at 5 p.m. tomorrow. I go live on my main channel at 5 p.m. on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. On Fridays, I go live on my second channel, Actively Unwoke, for happy hour. On Saturdays, we'll probably do a Sassy Saturday this week. We'll have to find a good stream. And then on Sunday, I get up and do it all over again. And if you want to support the work I'm doing, the very best thing you can do is become a member of my locals community by heading over to kb.locals.com/support. And you can join for $5 a month. You can join for $50 a year, which gives you 2 months for free. You can also make a one-time gift. It's my locals members that really keep me in business and doing all this sort of stuff, guys, because YouTube just doesn't pay the bills. So if you want to see me keep doing all the streams and all the content and all the clips and all that sort of stuff, it is really important that you support the work, because if it dips below a certain level, I have to go get a real job. I have to go do consulting and like assessment work. And that takes my time away from doing this. It's just the reality of the world, guys. I need to be able to pay my bills. But another way that you can help support the work I'm doing is by pre-ordering, for one more day at least, a copy of my book, Actively Unwoke, The Ultimate Guide for Fighting Back Against Woke Insanity in Your Life. It is coming out on Tuesday. You can get the hardcover version. You can get the Kindle version. The audio version is coming back with a vengeance at some point in a much better form. I promise. Don't lose hope. It's coming back. I'm going to do it through sheer force of will. But you can currently order it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million. If you want non-Amazon options for ordering the book, just go to activelyunwoke.com and look at that. non-Amazon options for ordering the book. And make sure if you pre-order the book, only for one more day can you get access to a special pre-order exclusive book club with me. Make sure you forward your receipt to bookclub@activelyunwoke.com. You can find out more information about this book club over on activelyunwoke.com /events. You just go under the Unwoke events section and you'll be able to read all about it. And if you order the book and you join my locals as an annual member, only the yearly membership are eligible for this, you will get access to a free customized autographed book plate that I will customize to you with your name, whatever message you want. If you don't tell me what message you want, you're leaving me up to my own devices. And so that may or may not turn out well for you. We're gonna have to see how that goes. But you get access to that free customized autographed book plate by becoming an annual member of my locals, and then you have to email me some stuff to locals@activelyunwoke.com. All that information is available in locals. Guys, I will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Take care. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.